Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon. Good afternoon to you out there, my dear listeners. And yes, we are on YouTube, our new platform. We're on YouTube right now. And first of all, I would like to apologize on the delay of Professor PLO Lumumba because of the too much birthday celebrations, which is still continuing. Prof is either going to be late or would be with us tomorrow. That's the message, and that's why I kept waiting a little bit. But in the meantime, we have to carry on with the show, and today we have three guest speakers. And the main reason why it was impossible for us to do it like a kind of a panel was, first of all, because of the time slot. And secondly, because we wanted to get a one-on-one so we can have a clean, straight conversation with them. And as you know, the topic on this weekend is Afro World official launching. Afro World is our Pan-African social media and e-commerce platform that we created for all this while, even though it's not really complete, but it is open. It is open for you to subscribe, for you to sign in, for you to upload your projects and your businesses and start following so I want to thank you for joining me on this show. I know it is a little bit slow. We're coming from another kind of an experience, and now we are here on a new experience, you know. But I want to tell you, this is one of the facts that we've been working on. How do we move Africa forward? How do we start creating and innovating our own space? So afroworld.tv is where you can click and register your initiative, your organizations. And I want to thank a lot of people that have been calling and saying, when is the tutorials coming up? When is the tutorial and the app coming up? Of course, it is going to come. We are gradually working on it. We're taking it slowly. We're going there gently, but we will get there. And so we have the pre-app already that should be available in Google Play Store, and the original or the biggest app, AfroWorld, the TV app, is still in process as the developers are putting in a lot on it. Yeah. So I want to thank all of you that are joining from this source for the first time. And I will also want to thank, just in these 2 days, we have a couple of almost 600 subscribers on this channel, even though it was something that just happened suddenly, that we were not waiting it to happen so soon. But I want to thank all of you that have taken the patience and the time to click and to subscribe on this channel. And what is very important is that please make sure that you also click the notification bell. The notification bell helps you to know when we are online, because we are going to continuously start streaming our daily program, and also a lot of programs that are going to come on this Pan-African Daily TV channel. And so it's very important for you to click and get notification. Like, probably we might come up at times that we don't announce, and so when you click the notification, it helps you to know that we are online. And the second thing we need to do is to subscribe. We subscribe, and so you don't just get the video, you view it. And so when you subscribe, you are a follower, you're a permanent follower. So if we have like important messages, we can send it per email to you. If there is something that you need to know about the program, or who is coming up, or what is happening, you get a notification or an email, from us. Otherwise, on Facebook, those things were not possible to do, to contact you via email, or to write a short message, or to even improvise something. But now on YouTube, we're safe for the time being, of course, and until we relocate to start streaming live and direct from the Afro World TV, which is something that should be happening in the next coming weeks. And that's what the engineers are working on. So I really want to thank you so much. And each and every one of you that is subscribing to this new channel, please make sure you share the link with our brothers and sisters to join us also on this conversation. Today, Professor PLO Lumumba wants to talk to us about the need for us Africans to be innovative, to be creative. That is the topic, and that's the official launch. The official launch doesn't mean that will have to open anything. It's open already. You have the link already. You can sign in, you can create an account, and it's so easy, it's so handy. It's on not like the other platforms where you need to ask for a friendship request or friend request, before you get that. On this one, you already would see the people that are available and you want to follow them. You just one click and you can follow. But like I said, we will be producing the tutorials to direct you, to walk you from step to step into this new Africa world. I can't wait for us to start getting it used to the services of this platform, and for us to start innovating and building our Africa according to our own terms, according to our own philosophy, according to our own vision and our own cultural values. Yeah. So, like I said, Professor PLO Lumumba will be joining us later. In case we are not going to have him today, from what I know and the schedule that he has, or the setbacks that he has currently, then we would have to have him tomorrow. But the other two programs with Dr. Arikana, these are fixed, this is unchangeable. With Julian Rian, she already advertised it on her YouTube channel. They are going to take place, and she's coming up 7 p.m. and immediately after her show, Dr. Arikana is going to be on. So please, I beg your patience, but I would just put you on a video on not just a video, but on the very incredible speeches of Professor PLO Lumumba while we wait to get him live with us in the studio. So please, let's watch and have a nice day.
Let me start by recognizing the chair of the Governing Council of the University of Limpopo, the Vice Chancellor of the University, members of the Council, senior academics here present, the clergy who are here present, the students and other distinguished guests, and the family of the late Abraham Tiro, for inviting me on this 8th day of the month of December 2017 to deliver the 5th memorial lecture. And it's also fitting that in absentia, I should acknowledge the men who have had the honor and privilege of delivering the previous memorial lectures. It gladdens my heart that today we are assembled here to remember a young man whose life was cut short on the first day of February 1974 at the tender age of 29 years. I remember in that year, in 1974, I was age 12, and I was a Standard 7 student, and in the month of December, I heard about Tiro for the first time. It is noteworthy as we remember Tiro today and as we celebrate him, that his life is marked by several monumental milestones. In 1945, the year of his birth, the international community sat down in San Francisco in the United States of America to create the United States organization. At that time, almost all African countries were under the colonial yoke, except Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ethiopia. 3 years later, those of you will remember, under the patronage of Hendrik Verwoerd, the most pernicious regimes of color differentiation amongst men was instituted in this country. You will also remember that at that time, the international community was already beginning to recognize that the entire colonial project was a project that was inimical to human civilization. We will remember that a few years in 1957, the great Ghanaian Diosajefo Kwame Nkrumah, speaking on the day of the independence of Ghana, was as passionate as he was eloquent in saying that Africa had to seek first the political kingdom and the rest would be given unto them. Unfortunately, we sought and obtained the political kingdom, but there is still a debate as to whether the rest has been given unto us, or whether we have used our capacity to give us the rest. So today we are gathered here to commemorate a young man whose life was cut short in the most brutal manner that any man can die. For the family, the video merely awakens old memories, and perhaps it is a day to mourn again. But the question that one must ask, are men like Tiro to be mourned? And my submission is that such men are never mourned. Such men are celebrated. Such men never die. It is the great Mahatma Gandhi who said several years ago, when he was confronting the colonial powers, that they may torture your body, even take away your life, but they can never kill your ideas. That is why today we are able to say that old soldiers never die. And such a soldier is Abraham Tiro, in whose memory we are here present. But this land of South Africa is also a land of other great people. And therefore, when we are assembled here today, we must remember those others who are his comrades in arms. We must remind ourselves that this land has given us great leaders, such as the great Albert Lutuli. We must remember them today. We must remember that this land has given us great leaders such as Nelson Mandela. We must remember them today. We must also remind ourselves that this is a land that has given us leaders such as Bantu Stephen Biko and Chris Hani and Albertina Sisulu and Walter Sisulu and Ahmed Kathrada and many other leaders who have served the world. We must remember that today. We must also remember that there are others who are still alive and well. We must remember and celebrate men and women such as Desmond Mpilo Tutu. We must remember them today because the work that was started by the likes of Abraham Tiro is the work that they continued in the realization that the struggle against evil is a relay race where one generation passes over the torch to another generation. We must ask ourselves, however, now that we are celebrating Tiro, did he die in vain? When on that 29th day of April in the year 1972, aged only 27, young men and women in his student council asked him to deliver a speech at the University of the North. He touched things that were way beyond his age. He interrogated his audience on that day. He asked them, this education system that you are giving us, does the world know the differentiation of education? He posed. He asked his audience on that day, in the United States of America, do they have education for the Negroes? Do they have education for the American Indians? Do they have education for the Caucasians? Why is it that in this country we have education for the Bantus? Why is it that we have education for the Caucasians? He posed the question. His audience did not take it kindly. Several years down the line, those questions are valid. Those of us who are familiar with the structures of pernicious regimes such as the apartheid regime may very well say that in the 1990s, you South Africans, with the assistance of the rest of Africa, succeeded in exorcising the ghost of apartheid. But is there a possibility that apartheid is still alive and well in other forms? Is there a possibility that apartheid is still alive and well? Is there a possibility that those desires of Tiro and other comrades in arms has never been met? Is there a possibility that the education that we provide in South Africa is not uniform? Is there a possibility that we still have apartheid in our education, not only in South Africa, but in the rest of Africa? Is there a possibility that we still have apartheid in our hospitals? Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that we still have apartheid in our public sector? Is there such a possibility? Is there a possibility that we still have apartheid in our economic sector? Is it possible that we never succeeded in exercising these ghosts? Is there a possibility that indeed Tiro was right in posing the question, do we have a fair deal? Do we have a fair deal for the young men and women who are in Port Elizabeth? Do they have a fair deal? Is there a fair deal for those who are massacred in Marikana? Is there a fair deal for those who are working in the farms in the Western Cape? Is there a fair deal for the blacks who are in the Orange Free State? Is there a fair deal for South Africans several years after Tiro was taken by his maker? In other words, when we are assembled here today, Tiro poses several questions to us. And those questions are not only valid to the South Africans who are here present, those questions are valid to the entire continent of Africa. Because the entire continent of Africa continues to punch below our political and economic weight. This continent of Kwame Nkrumah, this continent of Julius Kambarage Nyerere, this continent of Patrice Emery Lumumba, this continent of Modibo Keita of Mali, this continent of Albertina Sisulu, this continent still knows pain. This continent still knows hunger and famine. This continent still knows conflict. This continent still knows discrimination. This continent still knows underdevelopment. This continent is not at ease. And if you want to know that this continent is not at ease, You only have to look at each one of the African countries and pose the question that Tiro posed several years ago. You pose to you, South Africans, do you have a fair deal? Do the men and women who are working in your factories, are they treated fairly? We know you have made some strides, but is that the best you can do? Tiro would ask, do you have a fair deal? If Tiro today were to arise and he were to go to Zimbabwe, he would ask of Robert Gabriel Mugabe, do your people have a fair deal? Tiro would ask. Tiro would go to Mozambique and he would ask in Maputo, do you Mozambicans have a fair deal? And he would move before he goes to other African countries. He would go to Lesotho and Swaziland and ask them, do you have a fair deal? And he would not stop there. He would go to Namibia and ask of the president and the people of Namibia, do you have a fair deal? He would go to Angola and ask them, we know you have oil in Angola. Is it for the benefit of the Angolans or the Portuguese? He would not stop there. He would move a little to Equatorial Guinea and ask them, we know that you have the highest per capita income in Africa, but is that per capita income the result of voodoo economics, where it is concentrated only in the hands of a few? He would ask, and he would not stop there. He would go to Malawi and Zambia, and he would ask, Tiro would not stop there, because on the 29th day of April, the year 1972, he asked, what is the value of education if it is not connected with the rest of Africa? He would not stop there. He would go to the Democratic Republic of Congo and ask of Joseph Kabila, you country whom God has given everything in the world, why are you presiding over a country that is the poorest country in Africa, where rape is alive and well? He would ask. And he would not stop there. Tiro would go upstairs and he would go to Tanzania and would go to Kenya and he would go to Somalia and he would go to Ethiopia and he would go to South Sudan and he would go to the Sudan and to Egypt and to Libya and Tunisia and Niger and Central African Republic, and he would go to Gabon and he would go to Benin and to Togo and to Guinea and to Guinea-Bissau and to all the countries, and he would pose the same question. And he would not stop there. He would go to Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire and the Gambia and all the African countries and Sierra Leone and Liberia. And he would not stop there. He would go to Mali and Mauritania and Sahrawi and Morocco, and he would pose the same question. So today, when we are assembled here in the memory of a man such as that, the question that we must pose to ourselves, are we children of a lesser God? Are we children of a lesser God that endowed with the resources that we have, the dreams of Abraham Tiro have never been satisfied? What will we tell Tiro? You served in the SRC with Tiro. What will you tell him? When his torch was extinguished, have you carried the torch with dignity? You members of his family who lose him and miss him the most, have you kept his torch alive and well? You who knew him through history, have you kept his spirit alive? You who loved him, what are you doing to keep the agenda? How many Tiros have been born? Because Tiro never died. Because all soldiers never died. Is his spirit alive and well? Are we doing something about our education that will make Tiro proud? Or we have schools and we are miseducated in those schools? We have hostels, but are they accessible to all of us? We have farms, but do we eat what we deserve? We have young men and women who want to be engaged in gainful employment. Is it possible that the monster of corruption is standing in the way of Abraham Tiro? Is there a possibility that while Tiro tells us to be warriors for truth, we have made lies and greed our creed? Is it possible that we are betraying Tiro Abraham by doing things that we ought not to do? Is it possible that we are giving away our resources for which Tiro died at age 29? Is it possible that we are welcoming visitors in our country whose only desire is to devour us? Is it possible that we are abandoning our houses to men and women whose only agenda is to decimate us? Oh, Tiro, look at this audience. This audience of your fellow South Africans, now liberated from the chains of apartheid. When you died, South Africa was not free. On that February day when you died, Tiro, Nelson Mandela was still at the Robben Islands. So was Walter Sisulu, so was Chris Hani. And there were others like Robert Sobukwe and other great South Africans. They were still there. In the 1990s, your country was liberated. Your country now claims to be free. But Tiro, what are they free from? Tiro, is it possible that they are free from the chains and the yoke of apartheid, but they have been imprisoned by something else? And if it is true that they have been imprisoned by something else, what is that thing else? Is it their leaders or themselves? Is it possible, Tiro, today that we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of both man and God, and that we are all in equal guilt? If that is true, is this not the day, therefore, that your Spirit must descend upon us? That we must see the things that as a 29-year-old you saw when elders could not see? Is it possible that you came long before your time and the gods had to call you back? But is it possible that your message is now so relevant that you must not only impact upon South Africa, but upon Africa? We are assembled here to remember you, Tiro. But remembering you, because I'm told your name means remembering. But what do you remember about Tiro? When we leave this assembly, and we have had several assemblies in memory of Tiro Abraham, are they mere annual jamborees? Or there is something beyond the jamborees? Is this another fifth jamboree to remind ourselves of Tiro? To behold via a documentary how he lived without more? Or this is a day to re-energize ourselves? I'm submitting to us that this is a day to re-energize ourselves. I'm submitting to us that if we are to give meaning to Tiro, we must interrogate our country and our continent. We must ask ourselves, What are we doing to create employment for our young men and women that they may not run away to the United States of America and Europe? We must ask ourselves that question. We must ask ourselves, what are we doing to ensure that our young men and women, upon graduation from the universities, have opportunities for employment for those who desire to be employed, and opportunities for creativity and innovation for those who desire to create and innovate? We must ask ourselves whether we are generating enough funds to ensure that when our young men and women, our old men and women are sick, they have the ability to access medical services which are world class without paying a dime because they have worked hard for it. We must ask of ourselves whether we are producing enough food so that those who are consumers of pap and other associated foods can do so without let and hindrance. We must ask ourselves, what is the quality of housing that we are giving to our people? We must ask ourselves, what is the kind of infrastructure that we are giving to our people? We must ask ourselves whether we are giving our people the promises that we made to them in the days of apartheid regime. Tiro, the deal will be fair. Tiro, I can tell you, and we must tell ourselves that Africa is beginning to wake up. Our duty is to ensure that Africa continues awake, because there is no shortage of individuals who are in the business of injecting Africa with anesthetic drugs that they may continue in their slumber. So, Tiro, we must welcome the Chinese in Africa, but we must stop them from raiding our resources. Tiro, we must remind ourselves that there are three ways of being at the dinner table. You can be at the dinner table as a diner, as a waiter of food to be eaten. Africans have been at the dinner table as food for too long. Time has come that we must sit at the dinner table of civilization as diners. Tiro, we must remind ourselves that time has come that when our leaders are invited to international gatherings, they are not there merely for photo sessions, but as true participants in the agenda of determining what the world is all about. Tiro, we must remind ourselves that when we are in international organizations, we must not only be allowed to sit by dint of tokenism, but we must be substantive participants in the agenda of life. We are not children of a lesser God. We are not children of a lesser God. But we must also remind ourselves that we must apply effort in the things that require effort. We must not be persuaded, or we must not allow ourselves to persuade ourselves that without any effort on our part, we can get the things that we desire without work. We must work. There is no voodoo economics. There is no abracadabra and lo and behold, rabbits coming out of hats. We must remember that the divine instruction was, by the sweat of thy brow. Oh, it is not lost on me that we have a bishop here. It is not lost on me that even if one wanted to be spiritual about these things, we must have clarity of mind. Oh, dear bishop, is it not God who said through Elijah, do not waver between two opinions. Choose you now whom you want to serve. Is it not the same God who through Joshua said, choose you now whether you want to worship the God of the Amorites or the Lord God. As for me and my house, I shall serve the Lord. And I'm saying that one of the ways in which we serve God is by engaging in productive and honest labor. And I'm telling to us that our wealth does not reside in the things. I know of many people who are so poor that the only thing that they have is money and things. You and me must allow ourselves to be rich and wealthy in a different way, because the last time I checked, greed can never be satisfied. The last time I checked, those who are greedy is like consuming salty water. The more you consume, the more you thirst and the more you desire. Tiro, we are saying that time has come for Africans to liberate themselves. And I have a report to give to you, Tiro, on this 5th anniversary on which we remember you. There are countries that are beginning to move in a useful direction. Even your own South Africa, despite and in spite all the problems they have, they are still the largest economy in Africa. They are moving in some direction. Our only prayer is that they must continue moving forward, even if the pace is slow. Your country is not in a bad place. Zero, it is not only South Africa that is beginning to see a fair deal. The neighborhood in Botswana is beginning to move in the right direction. We know we have problems in Lesotho and Swaziland, but big brother South Africa will sort out those Tiro. Oh, we know, Tiro, that up in the north across the border in Zimbabwe, they have distinguished themselves as the only country without a currency, but even that we know it shall be solved. And Tiro, the story is not only good in the southern part of Africa, in the eastern part of Africa, my own country, Kenya, is not doing too badly. She has her own adolescent tantrums, but she'll soon settle down. And Tanzania and Ethiopia and Rwanda and Uganda are not doing badly either. In the West, Ghana and Nigeria are also doing well, reasonably well. And Cote d'Ivoire is also doing reasonably well. Sudan has a problem and Central African Republic, but we are asking the African Union to wake up. And we are the ones who will wake her up because she's been a sleeping dog for too long. And it is your spirit that will make her wake up. So Tiro, today, when we remember you, you who are born and died young, when we remember you, you who are born and died violently, you died a good death. For history has shown us that the man whom God loves died violently. Did Christ not die violently? Did the great Mahatma Gandhi not die violently? Did Nkrumah not die in great pain? You died the death of brave men. And that is why you never die. So Tiro, today, we are here to give meaning to what the South Africans sometimes shout about without much thought. We are here to give meaning to the shout Amandla, that Amandla may have a suitable response. Amandla! Maibuye! Maibuye! Amandla! Amandla! Tiro is an old soldier who will never die. Amandla! Maibuye! Thank you.
Yes, that was a moving one, and we've been watching. I've been watching with you, and I want to thank all those that are watching. I've seen you all that are online present here. And yes, we're going to move on to another very short video. And like I said, Professor PLO might not be able to meet with us here on this stage, but he is going to be with us, if not this evening, tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, we're going to keep you informed. Be aware of the live program that is coming ahead of us at 7 p.m. Europe. That is 8 p.m. East African time with Juliet, Rian, and also Dr. Arikana is going to be with us 9 p.m., which should be 10 p.m. East African time. These two guests are set. Nothing is going to come between them. With Prof, because of the too much hecticness of yesterday, I mean, he is actually going through some kind of challenges. I would like us to continue watch another very important video on the topic that he said, the need for Pan-Africanism for young Africans, and the time is now. Once more, let me thank you that are watching. As a matter of fact, YouTube is not like the other platforms where we need to get you watch live, because this video is on this channel and it's gonna stay here forever. It's not unlike the other channels where the videos would disappear after some time, but here these videos are here, so you can click on the save button if you want to rewatch it all the time, because right now it's not allowed to download them. So you can only click save on your phone. If you look at the tiny arrow, you click save. And if it's saved, you can rewatch it as often as you can. Yeah. So, but one very important thing that he said, and that's why we're talking about the Afro.TV platform, he said, time has come for Africans to liberate themselves. To liberate ourselves means what? And he said, we must work. That there is no voodoo, there's no abracadabra in life. The only voodoo to life is hard work, and that Africans must work. We must go to work. Young Africans, all Africans, be it in leadership, be it in any initiative that you are, it is time to work. And Afro World is here. We've created that platform for you to bring your initiative and all your works on it. So let us watch this last video. If we don't have Prof, please then join us at 7 p.m. with Juliet Ryan and Dr. Arikana at 9 p.m. So the other sessions with Juliet Ryan, we would just continue after the conversation, and automatically we get Dr. Arikana live on the show. So thank you for being here. Let us continue to enjoy this, and I hope you're learning as I'm learning. We're not just watching the speeches, but we are trying to put yourself in the position, and we're taking the actions that he told us to do. Particularly today, one day after his birthday, exactly this was what he told us. We have to create our own platforms, and we have created the AfroWorld.tv, and he's so proud because it is like his baby. So let us watch and be motivated and be inspired. Thank you very much for being here.
And that is why it gladdens me when I move across the continent of Africa now, and I see younger Africans whom you will never hear about in the newspapers, and I meet them. In the recent past, I've had the occasion to listen to great African minds. The lady who was dismissed by the African Union, Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwao, who in the recent past has come out and made our position known against the French manipulation. I've met her. I've not only met her, I've also met and read great Africans. Nana Kobina Nkesia from Ghana, who has written about the need for Africa to have a different governance system. I've had the occasion of reading great Africans, such as the great Cameroonian, Achille Mbembe, who from Witwatersrand University writes about Africa. I've listened keenly to other great Africans. I've mentioned him before, Silo Julius Malema. Young Africans who sometimes may irritate us, but is it not our duty to be irritated by younger generation? In fact, I dare say that the young generation must only have one mantra and only one claim to fame, that they must irritate those who are in power so effectively and in such an organized manner that they'll have no choice but to do that which is good and right. I've met a young Zambian, Kelvin Kaunda, founded a university, the Eden University, teaching about Pan-Africanism. I can go on and on, but there is no reason why we should give up. We should not give up on any one of us, because united we stand, divided we fall.
Yes. Now that was very short and very pregnant to the part that he mentioned Dr. Arikana, and that has just been kicked up, and now she is moving the continent, and that's the spirit of us, and that's the spirit that we are waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, just tune in again at 7 p.m. like I said, or click your notification when Prof is here. Then we are going to go live with him. Like I said, he just wrote and he apologizing for the constraint, and we understand what he's been through yesterday and all these days. It's not been easy, and for him not to be here as he promised, you know who he is. And so I would just ask us to be patient and join us again with Juliet. Let us even not put him through the stress, because I told him no, it's okay, he can join us tomorrow or next week. We are all here. After all, it's a recording, and after recording, we're going to share these videos and watch it at our own private times. It's not like if you miss the live. I understand the feeling of being live is different, but then we have to be used to, we're getting used to until we can, do it, have our guest here as program. But let me advise you or just give some information that is coming. We are going to continue our daily program exactly here. If you're motivated to watch the live recordings here on YouTube, be with us live. Same time, 8 p.m., 8 p.m. Europe, 6 p.m. GMT, 9 p.m. East Africa, 2 p.m. Eastern America. We're going to do exactly what our schedule has been, and all our guests are online and they are waiting already. The whole 2 weeks, we've all been filled with prominent guests that will be coming up. So please make sure that you join us on the live broadcast if you have time. If you have time on evenings, not to miss the guest live. It's always another feeling when you listen to the questions. And of course, you can call. You can call when we're in studio for you to, of course, for you to follow up the program live. But then also you can watch the videos on our YouTube, because what we're doing actually live is recording. What we're doing here, you recording, and you're in studio with us, and you watch us, and you follow us. And, it's different. The feeling is different. You get it directly from the horse's mouth. And but like I said, we are going to continue with our regular schedules every Monday to Sunday. Mondays to Sunday, we'll be having a guest. And apart from that, we're also going to be doing this kind of reportings that you're seeing here, because as our professor and our leader, just like Dr. Arikana, they've given us from the Pan-African Daily TV the authorization to stream their live videos to the audience live. I mean, normally these are not things that have been done, but we have the autonomy and the right, like the Pan-African Daily, to do that. And other reportings will be coming. So when we will have programs here that will run live, you can watch them live, you can watch them after. But the live conversations are very interesting because you can call. Like today, we had the opportunity, if we should have had the opportunity to have Prof, I would have loved to make direct calls and wish him birthday lively, not just send text, not just postcards, but you call him, it's another kind of a feeling. But of course, the birthday is still coming. When we have a birthday today, the whole year is all about birthday. So ladies and gentlemen, tune in again, 7 p.m. today with Julia, 7 p.m. Europe time, that's 8 p.m. East African time. So please click on your notification. You will see us when we're live. I would just tell him to relax today, and that we appreciate him even wanting to come to talk to us today was already too much, and he would be with us again, this week or tomorrow. I will keep you informed. But please sign in and let us listen to the strategic program, because Juliet is working on a document and with her organization, and you wouldn't want to believe it that people of African descent can now get citizen free in Gambia, particularly. This is cracking, and we want to hear about this facts. Yeah, so tune in and listen from the horse's mouth with Juliet Rian, and then our mom, our queen of Africa, is going to be here to advise us on the way forward, but also to give us very important information about our ADDI and the way forward. As we all know, The launching would have been today, the 18th of July, and was postponed. So definitely she's going to give us another date and the way forward to our engagement and the liberation of Africa. So we see us shortly. Enjoy it. Do some things around, hang around, and we meet us here back same time. Thank you.